One thing I wanted to ask you is, looking back in history, during the IRA troubles and the IRA bombing campaign, which caused so much, you know, it was the previous campaign on British soil that caused, you know, equal heartache and caused so many lives to be lost. Two women spoke out in Northern Ireland and said, Betty Williams and Mairead Maguire, and they were the Women for Peace. And they said, loud and proud, this is not being done in the name of our religion. And obviously they went on and won the Nobel Peace Prize. Don't you think in the current climate, you're doing amazing work, but don't you need more people like Betty and Mairead?
I mean, absolutely. And we actually use those two women as examples when we're working with Muslim women, saying, look how amazing these women are. This is what you need to do. You need to champion this work. And that's what we did with our Making a Stand campaign. We went to 8 different cities across the UK, engaged with hundreds of Muslim women, saying, we want you to champion this work. And often the response I find is that when you do this work, it's always women who are far more interested in doing this work because they feel that their children, frankly, deserve better.
Yeah,
and
it's mothers, isn't it, actually?
Absolutely. And they're willing to put their necks out and they're willing to experience the abuse and the backlash because they feel that this matters so much. And you know, I think women are amazing, do amazing work in this area.
I mean, the young ones, the young boys and girls, they're given a choice, aren't they, in their mind, either to be a Muslim or British. Not together. I mean, this is what ISIS says. I mean, how do you help that? Is it education that they need, or
I mean, that is a core part of their ideology, and with all extremists, and even with the far-right extremism, actually, they advocate that you cannot be British and Muslim, and it's all around this issue about belonging. And so, I mean, as part of our Making a Stand campaign, the image we used was a woman wearing a Union Jack hijab, and the Sun, interestingly, backed our campaign. But again, what that does is it challenges the narrative of Islamist extremists who say, you cannot be British and Muslim. Here we're saying, well, we are, you know, we belong to Britain and Britain belongs to us. And that narrative is really important because when we hear of cases like the Manan family from Luton who went last week, when you read their statement, they show no sense of belonging to this country. They somehow have more allegiance to another country that they probably never visited, and that's really quite remarkable.
So I think what everyone, and we've talked about it on this show before, you know, especially about the 3 young girls that went over there, like 15, 16, do you think they can be de-radicalised?
Absolutely. And even before that, I mean, the work that we do is to try and prevent people from being drawn into extremism and radicalisation in the first place. I wouldn't do what I do unless I didn't think that we can prevent people from being drawn into extremism. And I've seen...
Even though they've gone over there now and they're over there, do you think they could come back?
Well, we heard in the media recently how 2 young girls are on the run now, and they assume that to be Salma and Zara Halain, the 2 twin sisters from Manchester. And we know people who have returned already and who have been de-radicalised, and there are lots of amazing de-radicalisation programmes. But for me, I'm more interested in preventing people from going out there in the first place and convincing them that what ISIS are calling for is not the right answer.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We could talk about this all day.
Yes.
Sara.
Thank you.